We have been married for 28 years. We have 3 beautiful children. And it's been a journey.
We met in graduate school. She was pretty much independent and free, and she's very smart. But as we started having a family and raising children, I found myself becoming more increasingly impatient and more controlling. And in my background story, I'm first generation Chinese, and my father came over when he was 6 years old, but I began to understand or have more empathy for the immigrant story, because an immigrant story is that they basically want you to succeed. And they do that by teaching you to be strong and basically distrustful of the world, but you need to control things to keep safe.
My mother is from Mexico, and she was my model of what a wife and a mother should be. And she modeled for me to be very quiet and submissive to what your husband needs or wants from you. And it's not her fault. That's what her mother modeled for her, and her mother modeled for them, and that was just a cultural thing.
In addition, in my career as a physician in a position of authority, that's sort of what we do, is we take control and tell people what to do. But it doesn't bode well in a family dynamic, and that was difficult, because I knew that I was hurting Elsa and the kids, but I really was stuck and I couldn't get out of controlling.
It was actually just kind of a perfect storm that came together with how we were both raised and what we were taught to be. But unfortunately, that storm took away identities and caused a lot of hurt.
It really wasn't until we got connected with the relationship resource and men's skills and women's skills, marriage skills, that God gave us tools to understand that really the battle is a spiritual one. It's a spiritual warfare battle. And we believe lies that the enemy would teach us, and we don't understand the truth. We know the truth in our head, but we don't live it in our heart because we don't experience it or receive it. So we were stuck for a long time.
So my moment, and this is about 4 or 5 years ago, Darryl and I were taking the marriage skill classes. And it was the very last day of the 6-week course. My facilitator asked me, how do you feel about the current condition of your marriage? And when he asked me, my eyes started filling up with tears, because I was just like, it's coming out, whether I wanted to or not, it's gonna come out. And the fact that he acknowledged what I was saying, and he validated my feeling, he validated my fear, it made me think, I'm not just imagining this. This is something that's actually happened, and he just validated it for me. So I felt a sense of freedom from that. I just felt like I broke free. And the fact that he could put a name to my pain, it was like, wow, he just gave me my voice. And it was just something that was like, this is the first time I've ever been heard and validated and told, it's not your fault. It's okay. And because he did that, I now had a choice to choose what I wanted to do. It's out there now. I can't take it back. It's been validated. Now what do you want to do about it? And I chose at that point, I want to fight for this marriage.
My struggle has always been giving God, control of the throne and having faith, right? Faith is fundamental to Christianity, but I never had faith because I took care of everything myself. I would say, okay, God, you don't need to deal with this because, Darryl Wong's got this. But I didn't realize that it was this cultural, this family of origin mantle of responsibility that irresponsibility and shame are tied, so I could never go there. And so it wasn't really that I had to control Elsa or my kids to keep them safe. It was my shame that if I didn't keep them safe, I would be ashamed. And so it really wasn't even about them. I realized that I projected my shame upon them. I'm in the journey of starting to accept and love myself more, because I think, the basic definition of shame is self-loathing, right? We don't like ourselves. But if God can love me, who am I not to love myself, right?
The things that have helped me most is grounding myself in a community of Christian women. I've been blessed to be able to take a couple of women's skills classes and women Bible studies, and they've always helped me to find my true identity, who God created me to be, not who the world tells me or not what Darryl said. And they've always said, this is how God sees you.
Christ is a great physician, and you're looking at a physician here who couldn't really heal himself. I needed God to do it. But now, like I said, that as God has healed places in my heart and wounds from the past, I experience peace and joy and freedom. Those are like three things I never experienced before.
One of our leaders in our marriage skill group told us that there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. The best marriage are the marriages that recognize when there's pain, and then they go and try to fix it.